Well, good evening and welcome to another edition of One Man Show. This is a first for me. I have a live baby raccoon on my shoulder. Whoa, there he goes up on top. Tonight's episode, you're going to see Greg Caballo of Parma. Greg has entered the Ohio TOUGHMAN contest and he's going to give it his all in Youngstown. We're also going to see highlights of the Cleveland-Glenville Lakewood St. Edward football game from last fall, and maybe even another cameo from our little friend here. Stick around, folks, because One Man Show is loaded in the computer. This evening's episode starts now. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of One Man Show. I'm Z Zoltai, your Z-Man. Right on cue. You got to love it when the guests are already into the groove and we're just starting things out. It's always wonderful to bring you unique and special things in and around the viewing area that maybe you won't see on broadcast television. You know, the 358s, the 1943s, the same old shtick out of those guys. Tonight, I have Greg Caballo on my left. Greg is from Parma, and the unique thing about Greg is that he's going to fight in the TOUGHMAN contest in Warren. Greg, how long have you lived in the Parma area, and where did you live before moving to Parma?
Grew up in North Royalton, Ohio, actually, so I don't like to be from Parma, you know. I moved out to the east side, out by Middlefield, when I got married about 8 years ago, and divorced now, and currently in Parma for the last couple years, and actually be moving again, going to Strongsville here shortly.
Now, is this the first time you've ever participated in an organized fight of any kind?
As far as organized fighting, correct, yeah, it is. I went to Ohio State in the early 90s where I majored in business economics and so forth, and did some boxing, some light boxing there, but it was more of a fraternity house type format, if you will, nothing organized.
Well, that's interesting. You ask a guy a question if he's ever fought before, and he starts telling you about his college background. I certainly hope you fight better than you converse here on tonight's show, Greg. Why fight? I mean, why enter into the TOUGHMAN contest? Do you have something to prove to yourself or to others? Why fight this fight? Why let yourself be open to possible injury? Is it just a thrill of possibly winning the fight?
Z, of course, there's a lot of pride in myself. I mean, I'm a very competitive individual, and I want to go out and see how I can do in something like this. But, you know, basically everyone's always been telling me I'm half man, half amazing. You know, I've got panther-like reflexes, so I want to go out and put it to the test Friday night. We're talking with Greg Caballo, who's going to be fighting in the TOUGHMAN contest in Warren. That's right, the TOUGHMAN contest that you see on FX, aired nationwide. Maybe we're going to get to see this guy here on national TV. Of course, we had him here first on One Man Show. I just want to go on record of having said you're going to be fighting in a sport that you've never participated in before. What's your family and friends say about you actually entering the world of boxing and anything goes brawling? They all think I'm crazy. No chance of winning whatsoever, but I'm going to prove them all wrong. I'm going to win it. It's going to take some getting used to after the first hit, after I pick myself up off the mat, you know, but I'll be able to recoup and regain my composure and go at it.
You'd also mentioned, too, you had, what was the word you used, leopard-like or cheetah-like reflexes?
This panther.
Now, what's the difference between a panther or a cheetah? What makes your reflexes, if they're panther-like, any different than any other reflex?
Panther just simply sounds a little better, you know.
You know, when you play football or you play basketball for the first time, any sport, you kind of have an idea in your head as to what that first play is going to feel like, and in your case, what the first knock upside the head or the first gut shot's going to feel like. For the first round, Greg, do you have an idea as to how the first punch will feel that you take and the first punch that you're going to give out? Have you thought this through a little bit?
Z, I got to be honest, I'm a little more concerned and nervous, surprisingly, about just simply participating with a couple thousand, 2,000 to 3,000 people watching me, you know, in the ring. And I really don't know what to expect. I'm confident. I mean, I've taken lessons, and like I said, I've sparred before at Ohio State, so I know what I'm doing. But you just never know who you're going to go up against, if they're going to make me look like a total idiot or if I'm going to do well. Like I said, there's a lot of eyes on me, so there's some nervousness as far as that goes.
Oh, you know what? Listening to your answers, it's kind of funny. I guess you have to be a fella of a different mold of cloth to even consider stepping into the ring in the sport of boxing. I know on One Man Show, we brought our viewers earlier in the television season, Golden Gloves boxing. There'll be more of that coming up in the next couple of months. And our guest, though, tonight is Greg Kabala. He's a resident of Parma, has a normal job, just like you and I. The guy works in sales, but there's a yearning inside to become a fighter. And he's in his first organized fight coming up here later on in the show. We'll see him step into the ring as part of the TOUGHMAN contest, the Ohio Regionals being held in Warren. So Greg's going to sock it out with some other guys from in and around western Pennsylvania and Ohio. And I'd like to take this opportunity, too, to thank the fine folks who provided our environment where we're shooting this evening's show from, that being Valley Riding, Inc. And, of course, they're based out of Rocky River Stables at the bottom of Purtis Hill and also over in Brecksville. So many thanks to Valley Riding, Inc. and Rocky River Stables for providing us the facilities where we're shooting tonight's interview with Greg Kabala. You've already told our viewers, Greg, you're not married. You probably don't have a girlfriend. Lord knows no one would want to stick with you if you're wanting to get into the boxing and TOUGHMAN world. So let's move on. Let's find out here. Tell our viewers at home exactly how the fighters are paired, if you know. You go in there to round one on the first night on Friday. You're going to step into the ring. How are the fighters paired? And I would imagine, like normal boxing, that there's probably different weight tierings too, isn't there?
There's actually two different weight classes. I believe there's just simply a lightweight and there's a heavyweight class. The cutoff, I believe, if I'm correct here, the lightweight is up to 184 pounds. Everyone under 184 is in the lightweight. And then you have the heavyweight class, which is 185 up to 400. There's actually 20 fighters in each class. So it's a single elimination event. Friday night, you actually fight. Everyone fights one time, and it's a single elimination. If you make it, if you win your fight, you go on to Saturday, which, I'm not good at math, you fight, 3 or 4 times to win the whole championship. So it takes a lot of conditioning. Your arms are going to be turning into jello and so forth if you end up fighting 4 times in a row Saturday to win the whole thing. But that's what's actually got me a little bit worried winning each of these, and I don't know how my conditioning is going to hold up, so a little nervous about that. But and Z, I wanted to comment that I am indeed single, and if there's any women out there watching this that are interested, I'm sure you're going to flash my email address on the screen, right? Okay, we can do that.
Now wait a minute here. Normally I have a rule, an unwritten rule, no boneheads on my show. Now wait, do you honestly want me to put your email address at the bottom of the screen? This is not One Man Show dating service now, Greg.
Correct, but I mean, there's going to be a lot of women out there, younger women, that are going to want to contact me. So I'm trying to make it easier for them. And you don't want to be bombarded with letters and phone calls, so just put my email address there and kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
All right, we'll flash it right here at the bottom, one time only, because you were kind enough to be my guest. I'm talking with Greg Kabala, who resides in Parma. He's been signed up for quite some time and is going to be fighting in the TOUGHMAN contest, the Ohio Regionals being held in Warren. In a couple of minutes coming up on One Man Show, we're going to see Greg go at it in the ring, and later on we'll talk to him afterwards if he's not all bloody and swollen and if he's still in good spirits to do so, to chat with us. Now, I have it on good authority, Greg, that you look like a mild-mannered guy. Doesn't he, folks at home? I mean, this guy, he looks like somebody you'd see in the office. You are a salesman, for those who just tuned in. Kind of a mild-mannered Clark Kent kind of look. But I have it on good authority that you have some tattoos. Now, where do you have a tattoo? That would, I guess, make it official. You would really be a brawler if you have a tattoo.
Well, tattoos don't necessarily make someone tough, so I'm not going to sit here and act like that. But
oh, no, wait. In my book, I think if you got a tat, you're going to be a tough man. You got a tat?
I have about 11 tattoos. But you'll have to wait and see me in the show with my shirt off to see where they're at. Now, you're judging me there being mild and I'm in sales and you're kind of profiling me. But, I am a tough guy, and don't let these ruggedly handsome looks fool you, okay?
It's a good thing I control the microphone. I'm Z Zoltai. You're watching One Man Show. Thank you for tuning in this evening. We're spotlighting the Tough Man contest, which is held every year or every so often. And when was the last time any of you actually said you knew somebody that was signed up and participated in the Tough Man contest? The same Tough Man contest you see on national cable. Greg Kabala, right from Parma, right in our own backyard. He's going to step into the ring and try to come away with a few bucks and a trophy. What do you get for winning after all these months of training and the stress you're putting yourself through, Greg? What do you get if you win?
Basically just bragging rights. It's $1,000 for the first place winner, $250 the second place, but you don't really do that for the money, believe me. You know?
Let's back up here a little bit too. When you were a kid, we'll kind of set the stage here. Did you ever think to yourself you might do this? Did you ever think to yourself, I want to be a boxer? And what sports did you play as a kid?
Played basketball, which is kind of the basketball and boxing. There's a good correlation between, especially if you're a good one-on-one basketball player. The two sports, believe it or not, are very similar in the moving and so forth. So there's a lot of hand-eye coordination with that and leg work, which, as you know, boxing, there's a lot of footwork involved. Played basketball, baseball, a lot of baseball, and did, like I said, sparring in college. I love boxing. I like to watch it. I was a big fan of Mike Tyson. I don't know if that's good or bad,
well,
but
that's good. He could fight with the best.
but I like doing a lot of things. I have a lot of interest. You know, I'm sure that after this fight, I'll be having a lot of movie producers contact me, and it's maybe launching some new careers. Maybe also be making myself eligible for the NBA draft next year. Thinking about the...
That's enough of that. Now, this isn't big-time wrestling here. This is one-man show. On a serious note, again, we've talked about that it's pretty much just bragging rights if you win. It's a lot of commitment, a lot of hard work and effort on your part to be in the Tough Man contest and fight for, what is it, 3 rounds, a minute apiece? What are the number of rounds and how long are each round in the Tough Man contest?
Correct. It's each fighter. It's each bout is 3 rounds at 1 minute each, and most people kind of laugh at that and scoff at that and not think any big deal. But I tell you what, you look at some of those guys at the second or third round, and they're not even able to move their arms. They've kind of turned to jello. So it should be interesting.
Let's see your reach here real quick here. Just kind of hold your arm out. I know you're longer than mine, but this way, use your left hook. Just kind of turn here for our folks at home. Reach across and... let's see, I have about a 33-inch arm in a dress shirt, and I know you're a little taller than me, so you bring it up here. So you can see, folks, that a guy like me in the Tough Man contest, I'm 3 inches short over here on Greg. He would have already have landed a shot to my head. Well, how long is your reach anyway? That's a pretty good reach you've got there.
I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know what it is.
Anyway, it's awful darn long, and you can see that physical attributes might make a difference. So, I'll tell you what, before we take a break here and set the camera up and head down the turnpike, so to speak, to watch you fight in the Tough Man contest, let's see a little bit of your footwork. You up to showing the folks at home some of your footwork, Greg?
Yes, but you'll have to pay and come to the show to watch it.
Well, this is certainly a first. I don't think I've ever had a conversation with somebody that's not a real boxer but aspires to be a tough man, and that's what we're doing here tonight, speaking with Greg Kabala, who hails from Parma. I got asked this question too, Greg. What in the world happens if you get an eye knocked out or a tooth dislodged or a filling or dental work or even a broken bone? What happens if you get hurt? Is there any kind of special medical coverage when you sign up for the Tough Man contest, or you pretty much on your own when you sign that waiver?
Z, you ask me questions constantly that I'm not even worried about. I mean, that's something that my opponents have to worry about, and I feel bad for them, but, you know, that's the facts of life, and they're going to get in the ring with me, and that's just something they have to deal with.
You're watching One Man Show. Again, I'm Z Zoltai, and I'd like to take this opportunity one more time to thank everybody at Valley Riding Inc., as well as the folks here at Rocky River Stables for allowing us to shoot tonight's show from the lobby by their wonderful fireplace tonight. Greg Kabala is my guest. He's a local fellow right out of Parma that's enrolled in the Tough Man contest, signed up, ready to go, ready to fight. We're going to see him in a minute in the ring. Then after his fights in the ring are done, we're going to talk to him afterwards, and hopefully he won't look like Rocky at the end of the first Rocky motion picture. Greg, obviously you work like the rest of us. We said that at the start of the show. What's your employer have to say about this, and how will they feel if you come back into work on Monday morning all bruised and battered? And after you answer that question too, what do you do for hobbies? I mean, we're here tonight at Valley Riding Inc., and we're talking about tough men and fighting and beating each other up, but have you ever rode a horse too? I mean, what are your hobbies as well? But first, address the issue of what your employer is going to say if you come back into work all beat up.
Well, that's a good point, Z. And that was something I was very concerned about initially, you know, being in the white-collar field here and every other week traveling out to Seattle and Portland, Phoenix. It was something I was concerned about. But surprisingly, they were the executive VP who I worked for and my manager, Katie, very cool about it, didn't seem to express any concern. Of course, they probably know that I'm going to dominate and win, and that's why they're not worried. So. But if I do come back with a couple black eyes and a busted nose, yeah, it's going to cause some problems and obviously might delay me from going on a couple trips. So as far as my hobbies go, I like pretty much everything. I've got my hands dabbling in everything. I do like horseback riding, although I haven't done it in a few years. I used to go out west and do that, Colorado, Wyoming, and so forth. Got 100 acres in southern Ohio, the cottage there, and enjoy fishing and hunting and hiking. Love dogs, cats, fish, you name it. So I pretty much like doing everything.
Well, that wraps up the first part of tonight's show. I guess that leaves us with the second part, and that's where we're going to see you fight, Greg. Greg Kabala is up next. He's going to step into the ring as a part of the Toughman contest, the Ohio Regionals held in Warren, Ohio.
So they're going to be fighting in this ring tomorrow. I'll give them a who, give them an oh hell yeah! Damn! All right, guys, what do you see down here? In fact, what we'll do. Mr. Youngstown, Rico Acevedo. Seconds left. punch to win. That's it. That's the end of the go, guys. All right, guys, the Georges. Ring girl number 2. That's right, guys. That is Taylor Trout, all of our gorgeous ring girls and headliners. He's out of there. He's out of there.
Just a quick time out from this evening's show. The owner of Miko is this young lady here, Sarah. Oh, Miko really likes the Z-Man. Now we'll step closer here to the camera. Sarah, how did you have to talk loud for the folks at home.
Yeah.
How did you ever come across getting Miko, a little baby raccoon like this?
A lady was picking up roadkill on the side of the road, and she happened to find Miko sleeping there. She knew that my uncle and my dad had taken in baby raccoons before, and she decided that we would be a good home for him.
Now what happens when Miko gets bigger and decides to maybe get a husband or wife raccoon, and maybe try to go off into the wild? Is that when you'll let Miko go?
Yeah, well, leave his cage door open to where he can come back for food if he needs it, and then eventually he'll decide to go off on his own.
He really likes me. Look at this. He's
Yes,
coming
he
right
does.
back. Is it because I'm taller and raccoons like
Yes,
to climb?
he's acting as if you're a tree and you're taller than me, so.
How about that? I'm a tree. Thank you very much, Sarah. Now back to more on One Man Show.
And you're watching the One Man Show with Z Zoltai.
Z Zoltai, here goes LeBron James. He's at the Glenville St. Ed's game. You got Coach Ted Ginn right there. And just a little picturesque. I tried to ask him to see if it'd give you a, you're watching a one-man show on Cox Cable, but sorry to say, he turned me down. So I tried.
On my glove.
Let it loose, boys.